The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, appears to have added more distance between himself and Sadiq Khan over the expansion of the ultra-low emission zone. He said cities should look at other options for tackling air pollution. Meanwhile, with the day of expansion fast approaching, more cameras have been vandalised by activists. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has the latest.
In full view of drinkers at a busy pub, a hooded figure in black uses giant pruning loppers to snip the cable of a ULEZ camera. This brazen act of sabotage outside the Swan and Mitre in the centre of Bromley is the latest attack on the cameras which will police London's extended clean air zone.
I will never agree with that people should be doing it. It's illegal. You should not be doing that. And the cameras have cost £60 million of taxpayers' money. But at the same time, I just do not think that Sadiq Khan has any comprehension of just how upset people are by this.
Transport for London refuses to say how many cameras have been vandalised or stolen. TfL was hoping to have more than 2,500 in place for the ULEZ extension on August the 29th.
13,965.
Ever since the Conservatives' unexpected win in the Uxbridge by-election, Sadiq Khan has been under pressure from senior Labour figures to rethink his plan. Now the party has reportedly dropped a commitment to introduce even more clean air zones.
What I don't want is schemes that disproportionately impact on people in the middle of a cost of living crisis. So we need to look at options for achieving what we all need to achieve, which is clean air. There are other ways of achieving this.
The Labour leader points to other cities like Birmingham and Bristol, where clean air zones are confined to the centre, not in the suburbs. But Sadiq Khan argues there is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to cleaning up toxic air.
What's right for London may not be right for Luton. Policy that's right for Bermondsey may not be right for Burnley. I'm quite clear, though, that the ultra-emission zone is a policy integral to tackling the climate emergency, at least to less carbon emissions, but also integral to the public health emergency. We have around 4,000 premature deaths a year.
Despite political pressure from all sides, despite the disabling of the cameras, the Mayor is pressing ahead with his ULEZ extension. 2 weeks tomorrow, all of London will be in the zone. Simon Harris, ITV News.
Good evening. The few that remain have been vandalised, but the majority was stolen completely. On one stretch of road in Bromley, we counted 20 spots where ULEZ cameras should sit. All had been targeted. It's a running battle between activists and Transport for London, which has now stepped up, with TfL trying a new way to protect the cameras, metal armour to shield their wires. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has our top story.
The attacks on ULEZ cameras are far from subtle. Some have the cables sliced or ripped out. Others are repositioned so they point at the sky or trees instead of traffic. And then there are those which are simply unbolted from their brackets and taken away.
This is the A224 in Orpington, where along a 2-mile stretch we counted 6 junctions where ULEZ cameras have been targeted. 3 cameras were vandalised. 17 have been stolen.
So why has the London Borough of Bromley become a hotspot for ULEZ sabotage?
I honestly don't know, but what I do know, without condoning it in any way, shape or form, is I have been warning, amongst others, for months and months and months of there being lots of very upset, very scared and increasingly angry people out and about, and I think that's manifesting itself on the streets.
A few days ago, a figure dressed in black attacked 2 cameras in the centre of Bromley, apparently unfazed by an audience of drinkers in a local pub. But not everyone approves of the vigilantes.
I think it's terrible. Terrible. Wrong.
Dreadful. I don't know why these people have to do this. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to look after our environment, aren't we?
There's no point, right? Like, vandalising something's not going to change the fact that it's expanding. It's pointless.
The attacks on the cameras leaves clean air campaigners depressed.
They're all across the world now, these clean air zones, and they're working. And then on the other side, you've got people, parents even, who are turning to vandalism and criminal damage. Yet actually, I think it's like they're cutting off their noses to spite their face, because these measures will benefit them and their children and all of us, and we all need to breathe cleaner air.
Transport for London has now decided to fight back with a new armoured camera. The cables at the back and the bolts which hold the cameras in place will be protected by steel cases. But it's going to add to the £140 million cost of cameras and warning signs.
And Simon, it's not just cameras causing headaches for TfL, but signs too, is that right?
Yes, with the exception of Slough, all of the local authorities which border Greater London are refusing to cooperate with TfL when it comes to putting up signs which will warn motorists that they're about to drive into the new extended ULEZ. Now, these are Conservative councils and they oppose the ULEZ extension, but TfL has warned that 3 of them, Kent, Hertfordshire and Surrey, could potentially be responsible for causing road crashes if drivers approaching the zone at the last minute perform a risky manoeuvre, say a U-turn, to try to avoid it and end up having an accident. TfL says these councils failing their legal duty under the Traffic Management Act to keep the roads safe, and Sadiq Khan has asked them to put politics aside and allow TfL to put up the signs. But the councils are determined to stand firm. They say they are not going to give way unless Sadiq Khan extends his scrappage scheme to allow people in the home counties to apply for a grant.
Not very long to go until D-Day. Simon, thank you very much.
Next, it's one of the capital's main tourist attractions, housing some of history's most precious and expensive artefacts. But tonight, a police investigation is underway at the British Museum after items, including gold gems and jewellery, went missing. But despite efforts being launched to try to recover them, there are now fears they will have already been melted down and sent abroad. With the latest, here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
It's one of the most famous museums in the world. Its precious artefacts include the Rosetta Stone and Parthenon marbles. Since the British Museum was founded in 1753, more than 8 million objects have been collected, but now some of them are missing, and the main suspect is a former member of staff. Visitors to the museum were taking in the news today.
I read in the New York Times yesterday, and I think it was a bit of a tragedy, the fact that somebody, a worker, would steal all this beautiful stuff from the museum.
How on earth they got off with it, I don't know.
People shouldn't really be taken from work, should they?
The museum is planning legal action against an unnamed former member of staff who's been dismissed. The museum says its priority now is to recover the stolen artefacts. But before it can do that, it must first try to work out what's missing. It's described the stolen goods as small pieces from one of its collections. They were taken from a storeroom and include gold jewellery, gems and semi-precious stones and glass. They date from the 15th century BC to the 19th century AD. Chris is a lawyer who helps recover stolen art. How embarrassing is this?
It's extremely embarrassing. This is the most preeminent museums in the world having a security issue. I mean, it's the standard for a secure museum.
Some people will argue this is perhaps the largest collection of stolen goods in the world.
I've heard that said, and I may have said it myself occasionally.
The uncomfortable history of the museum's artefacts was most famously highlighted 40 years ago when Greece demanded the return of the Elgin marbles. It dispatched its glamorous culture minister, the former film star Melina Mercouri, on an unsuccessful mission to London to recover them.
We must have them back, and we believe that we will have them back.
But many art experts think the museum's contents should stay where they are.
These artifacts reflect world culture, and the best display of world culture helps the people who want to see and learn something from them. If they're already in the British Museum and the whole world's population is coming to see world culture in one place, it should stay that way.
The museum has commissioned an independent review into the thefts and says it's already tightened security. Simon Harris, ITV News, Bloomsbury.